Good morning. I'm Kristen Moyo, Associate State Director of Outreach and Engagement with AARP, and we're so happy that you have joined us today for Mindful Movement. Thank you for joining us, and I'd like to bring Becca on and introduce her. Hi, Becca. Good
Hi,
morning.
Kristen. How are you today?
I am wonderful. I just want to remind everyone that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. Great. So, Becca, tell us a little bit about what we're doing today.
Well, this is our Mindful Movement series, which we started several years ago, and it's really been a great opportunity for the AARP of Alabama to provide our members and really people all over the country with an opportunity to stay engaged and active and participate in community and in exercise from their own home. So today we do the yoga focus. So I'm a yoga teacher, and we're going to focus today on shoulders. Last time we did hips, so this week we're going to focus on the shoulder joint.
Great. Thank you for telling us what to expect today. I just want to remind everyone that they do need to check with their medical professional and their doctor before starting any type of activity. All right, Becca, take it away.
All right. So, like I said, last time I was with you guys 2 weeks ago, we focused on the hip joint. Those are some of the biggest, most important joints in the body. This week, I thought we would focus on the shoulder joints, right? So, shoulders are pretty important because we use our arms and our hands to do all sorts of things, right? And it can be pretty common for shoulder injuries or, a decrease in mobility or decrease in strength to occur in the shoulder. So let me just remind you as we go through our practice today, you should adapt it to meet your needs. That means you can skip things that don't work for you. You can make your movements smaller or bigger or just all around different if that suits you better. And I want you to avoid anything that creates any pain anywhere in the body, right? Sometimes there's stiffness, sometimes there's tightness or even soreness. You, of course, are the best judge on whether something is okay for your body to do. And I do want to encourage you to listen in, be mindful of your own signals from your own body and, so you can participate safely. All right, we always use a chair as our base for our practice today. That means that if we need to stay seated, we can, or if we need to hold on to the chair for balance at any point, we can. We'll do something seated. We'll do something standing. All right. So let's go ahead and sit tall. And just take a few moments. You might even close your eyes. We're just going to turn our awareness into our body and into our breath. And if you'd like, you could place a hand on your chest, on your heart, and you can place another hand on your abdomen. All right. So if you want to place those hands there, it might just help you to feel your breath movement. All right. So let's take a few slower, deeper breaths to start today. Inhale and see if you can feel the movement underneath your hands. Maybe the chest lifting a little bit, maybe the belly swelling. Exhale, try to blow all that air out. You might do it through the mouth, you might do it through the nose. See if you can feel the belly pull in, the chest drop. Let's take about 4 or 5 more of these deep breaths. Deep breaths are a great way to just sort of reset your nervous system a little bit, or just kind of give your nervous system a little mini sort of a break from all that it might be doing for you during the day. It's the holiday season as well, and so there's a lot of extra stress perhaps in your life, just trying to get ready for those holidays. 2 more of these big breaths. 1 more. All right, and then just let those hands drop down to your lap. We're going to actually start with loosening up the neck a little bit because the neck and the shoulders very closely connected. All right, so let's start by sitting tall and then turning the head side to side. So just turning right and left. All right, now we're going to add to this movement. Turn the head to one side as far as you're comfortably able to go. Then drop the chin down, sort of down onto your collarbone. And then slowly bring that chin across the chest, all the way over to the other shoulder. And then bring it back down across the chest, back to that first shoulder. And let's just go back and forth a few times, tracing a semicircle here across the chest, across the collarbones. Good, about 4 more times. All right, and then bring that head back to center, lift it up. Good, now let's move down to the shoulders. Let's start with simple shrug and drop. Right? So just simply up towards the ears and then press down away from the ears. All right, up and down. Just start to get a sense of that movement. The shoulder blades are these bones on our upper back, right? They're part of the shoulder joint, but we may not think about them as much when we're doing stuff for our arms because they're kind of out of sight, right? We don't really see them. We can't touch them very easily, right? So they tend to maybe lose some mobility over time because of that. So this is a shoulder blade movement. You're hiking those shoulder blades up and then you're pressing those shoulder blades down. And the more mobility we can get in our shoulder blades on our upper back, the better our arms and shoulder joints will function. All right, now the second movement I want you to make for those shoulder blades is forward and back. This one's maybe a little harder to see from the video, but I'm basically rounding or kind of pulling the shoulder blades forward and then squeezing them back, right? So forward and back, forward and back. Now, no matter what amount of movement you're making, you're benefiting yourself by making some movement. So even if your movements are small or hard to control or hard to feel, that's okay. Do what you can do, and that's always a benefit. Now, let's try to put these 4 movements together, okay? So go up and then come forward and then go down and then pull back, right? So it's like we're tracing a square. Okay, kind of going around the box with those shoulders. Forward, up, forward, down, and back. Up, forward, down, and back. Now let's reverse. All right, go forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. 2 more. 1 more. All right, now just shake out those arms a little bit at your sides. Any kind of movement there from the fingers and the wrists, the hands, the elbows. You can give them a little flap, shoulders, shimmy and shake. All right, now let's work a little bit on just the range of motion for the whole shoulder, the arm, right? So bring those arms forward. Lead with your thumbs. So thumbs up, go as high as you're comfortable going, and then bring it back down the same way. Now, you may find that you can bring your hands closer together, or you may decide that it's better or feels like you go further or more easily if you take your arms a little wider. So I want to encourage you to experiment as you do this a couple more times, taking those arms up and down, and see whether your shoulders feel better when you go wide or if they feel good when you go narrow. And how far do they go? Do they get all the way up to your ears? Or a little bit less than that? Does one shoulder go farther than the other? All right, now let's do a different movement. This time, turn the palms out to the side and go out to the side and overhead, and then back down. So again, you may find that you don't want to come all the way together overhead, or they just don't go that far. That's okay. Go as far with this movement as works for you and your body. Good. Couple more times out to the side. We're just generally loosening up those shoulders. 2 more of these. Good. All right, now shake it out again. Maybe give those wrists some circles. If you feel like you need to turn the head again, do that. All right, now our last movement for warming up those shoulders is rotation. So I want you to bend your elbows and have your hands out to the side. You could lift up high if you want. That's going to work a little more, a little harder. You can be down low if that feels better, right? And then what we're going to do is take one hand behind the head and one hand behind the back. And then come back out to where you started and then go the other way. All right, so this is starting to get our rotation of the shoulder joints, right? So the shoulders rotate inward, they rotate outward. So one hand is, rotating, one arm is rotating in, one arm is rotating out as we do this movement. You don't have to worry about which one is which. Just get that movement flowing. Bringing those hands, kind of as close to the middle of your back as you're able to. But again, no forcing, no pain. All right, let's do about 4 more of these. And last one. And then again, shake it on down. All right, now let's give a little stretch. And then we'll stand up and do some things in standing. We'll do some weight bearing in a moment on the chair. Let's take one arm across the chest for a little stretch, right? Try to sink that shoulder down away from your ear as you sit up tall. Now we're going to do the same arm, but bring it behind your back. And if you can, reach behind with your other hand and give it a little pull. This will help you stretch a little bit the front of the shoulder. If it's not possible to hold your hands behind your back, we'll just take the one hand back there as far as you can, and that will be a great way to get started. All right, now let's take the other arm across the chest for a stretch, using that other hand to help push it across or hold it there in place. All right, and then we'll take the same arm and bring it behind the back as far as you're able to. Maybe use that other hand to reach, grab and give it a little extra pull. Good, a couple more breaths here. And then release it and shake that out. All right, let's stand up so we can get out of our seat for a bit. So we'll use the chair still, all right? You could do this part of the sequence all the way on the floor if you wanted to, but it's nice to have the chair. We don't have to get all the way down on the floor. And the chair actually gives us a nice sort of in-between, a progression, so that we're not putting the full load on our shoulders that we would if we were on the floor, right? So it's sort of an in-between. If you wanted a little less than what's happening in the chair, you could do this next portion on a wall or a higher countertop if you wanted to. All right, so we're gonna bring those hands down to the surface that you're using, the chair or the wall or the floor, all right? And let's go ahead and just give our spine a little bit of movement, right? Because that upper back shoulder blade area that I mentioned before is all there in the spine. So the more we can get that moving, the better for our shoulders. So we're rounding into cat and then flattening out, pulling those shoulder blades back, giving a little arch, rounding into cat, flattening out, rounding. Got about 3 more. All right, now we're going to just stay in a flat back. Remember, you could do this on the wall if you wanted to. One hand is going to push while the other arm pulls. So I pull, just like maybe I had a bow and arrow, right? Pull the elbow back, pull the hand here, get that shoulder blade to pull back, and there's even a little turn of the body. And then I'll come back to tabletop, back to hands on the surface, and then pull the other way. And let's alternate, right? So one arm pushes while the other pulls. Now remember, this is one of those examples where you can make this bigger or you can choose to make it smaller, depending on what works best for you. If you're making it bigger, you're getting a little more movement of the whole spine and even the hips and the legs a bit. Good. 4 more times with this pulling, this bow and arrow pull and push. All right, now we'll come back to center. Now, you may be fine where you are, right? So you may choose to stay just like this. Or if you want to make this a little more challenging, walk your feet further back. But try to keep your shoulders over your hands or close to over your hands. Now I'm pushing, pushing, pushing. This is a plank pose. This certainly works more than just the arms or the shoulders. You got the core working here as well. All right, 2 more breaths. Come out early if you need to. Good. And then let's go ahead and walk in. Stand all the way up. Give those shoulders a couple nice big rolls again. And then let's repeat that, okay? So let's come back into our plank position. Remember, walking your feet further back is going to make it a little more challenging. If you want a little less intensity, walk your feet in a little bit more or go to the wall. That's going to be less intense than the chair. If you want more work, you go down to the floor. All right, now this time around, if you want to try a little more challenge from whatever position you're in, you can just try and walk those hands. Just pick up one hand and then the other, like you're just walking in place to give those shoulders a little more challenge. Strengthening those arms. Stop anytime you feel like you've had enough. I'm going to do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now this time let's take a little stretch for the arms by pushing the hips back and lengthening out, letting those arms kind of come up closer to the head for a little more stretch. This also might be called downward facing dog. This is a variation of it using the chair. It can be done on the wall. It can be done on the floor. All right, good. Now walk it in. Stand up tall, roll those shoulders again. All right, now the next little portion we're going to do, we'll still be focusing on the shoulders, but we're going to do a stance for the legs, sort of a traditional yoga pose called warrior. Now I'm turning my chair around so that if I need to hold on, I've got the tall part of the chair close to me. And I'm going to step my right leg back and have my left leg close to the chair. Now I'm going to focus on my right arm to start with, the one that's, on the same side as the leg that's back, and certainly could hold on with the left hand. But if you don't feel like you need that extra support, just let the left arm be at your side. So we're going to try and take a circle. I'm going to bring the arm up as high as I comfortably can, and then turn the palm towards the back and sweep that arm down by the hip, and then right back into the front. So up, turn, sweep back. Now I'm trying not to turn my body very much, right? It may have to turn a little bit. And again, you're going to have to figure out what's the biggest circle that you can make that feels okay in your shoulder. Good. About 3 more circles with this right arm. Try to go slow if possible. You'll get a little more work, a little more brain and body connection when we move slowly. 1 more circle. All right, now I'm going to leave the right arm either on the chair or up in front if I don't need to hold on to the chair. And I'm going to do that bow and arrow pull with the left and then reach the left forward. So we switched arms, but we're still with the same stance with our feet, okay? So I'm pulling with that left, putting a little twist here, trying to get that shoulder blade to move. Good, just 3 more here. Last one. Come back to center, step in. Pause a moment, just observe the body. Maybe you feel that work from that circling of the right arm or from the pulling of the left arm. And then let's change up our stance so that we've got the left leg back and the right foot knee forward, our warrior stance, up nice and tall. Hold on if needed. Left arm now is going to circle, thumb leading up, and then turn. Try to turn that palm back and complete whatever shape, may not be so circular, whatever shape you can sort of carve out of the air here beside you. Again, remember to move slow, be mindful, pay attention to what you're doing and what you're feeling. How is this side different from the right arm? Let's do 3 more circles. It's always okay to have stopped early, though, if you feel like you needed to take a break already. All right, now we stay on this side with the legs. That right arm can be out in front of the chest or hold onto the chair. And I'm pulling with the right arm and then reaching back forward. Pull, so there's a little twist there. Turning towards that front leg. And then pull that shoulder blade back. Good, 3 more. Good. All right, now both hands on the top of the chair. We're going to do another version of downward dog, which can be a good stretch for the arms. Walking the hips back, walking the feet back, pushing back with the hips, sort of making an L shape with the body, or as close to that L shape as you can come. Stretching out long through the shoulders, the arms. All right, now let's come back to that right foot forward. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's come back to the left foot forward. That's the one we did first. All right. Left foot forward for our warrior stance again. All right. Now, if you need to take a shorter stance to make you feel more balanced or even get your feet wider, that might help you be more balanced and so that you can let go of the chair. If you feel like you can't let go of the chair, just do one arm at a time. We're going to pull back, squeeze both of those shoulder blades together, and then sweep the arms big out to the side and forward. Pull back. Stretch out to the sides and reach forward. Again, we're trying to get some shoulder blade movement along with this movement of the arms. So see if you can feel that upper back. The upper back squeezes when you pull, and then it rounds or broadens when you reach forward. 3 more. One more. All right, let's just switch feet. Step the right foot forward, the left foot back. If you were doing one arm that first go round, then go ahead and switch. If you're doing both arms, you have the option to do both arms again. Pull, reach out, sweep forward, pull, reach out, sweep forward. Good. 3 more here. One more. All right, hands on the chair. Again, step back, press the hips back, get that downward dog type stretch here. All right, and then bring it back in. We're going to come back to sitting in the chair. All right, we've almost used up our time already. All right, now we're going to do a few more stretches for the shoulders. We're going to revisit that one that we did at the beginning, actually, taking one arm across the chest. So take that arm across the chest, using your other arm to hold it. Try to really sink the shoulder down away from your ear. Sit up tall, and then tilt your head away from that shoulder that you're stretching. Right? So I'm tilting my head away from the arm that I'm stretching across the chest. I'm actually tilting it towards that hand over there. All right, now I'm going to leave my head tilted, but drop that arm down and away, right? So sort of the opposite angle of what I just was doing. The head is still tilted, and I can adjust maybe the angle of that arm or the reach of that arm if I want to put a little more pull there. Good, and then relax that arm, bring it back to your lap, bring your head up to center, and just pause for a moment. Observe that side of your body from the earlobe down through the tops of the top of that shoulder, and just see how much space you notice. How does it compare to the other side here? All right, now let's stretch the other arm across the chest. All right, sink that shoulder down, sit up a little taller, tilt the head away from that shoulder that you're stretching again. Tilt it towards the hand over there. Pay attention to what you're feeling. Try to stay with the sensations in your body. Take a slower, deeper breath if possible. And then again, your head is going to stay tilted, but I'm going to release that arm and take it out and down. So we're stretching out and away with that arm as I tilt the head. Play around with that angle if you want to. Find sort of a good spot that feels like a nice stretch for the neck. Good, and then release that hand to your lap. Bring the head back up to center. Take again just a moment to observe the sensations there in the shoulders and the neck, comparing the two sides. All right, now a few more shoulder rolls. Now at the beginning, I got real specific about, kind of 4 corners or 4 points. But really, if you just move those shoulders around a couple times throughout the day, especially if you find yourself, sedentary or sitting for a good long period of time, maybe at your computer or driving, these shoulder rolls are great ways to get that upper back loosened up, helps the neck, gets those shoulder blades moving. Now, let's do one more thing for the shoulders. This is to open up the chest a little bit. I want you to reach the arms back, maybe scoot to the front edge of your chair. Depending on your chair, okay, and your body, you may be able to reach back and hold the back of the chair. So if that works for you, great, give that a try. If it doesn't, that's okay. You're reaching back as far as you can. Take a break as needed. So I'm trying to squeeze back between those shoulder blades and lift up through the chest and the collarbones. You could drop your chin if that's more comfortable, or you could lift your chin. Either one is fine. Take a nice deep breath into that chest. Good, now release. Bring those arms in front and give yourself a big hug. All right, try to really walk those fingertips back towards the shoulder blades. Maybe you can feel the edge of that bone there somewhere. Now take a deep breath into your upper back. Maybe drop your chin down. All right, now we're going to go back to, notice which arm was on top. I forgot to tell you that. Notice which arm was on top. See if you can remember. Reach back, stretch the chest, maybe hold on to the chair. Big breath. And then we'll give ourselves that hug and try to take the other arm on top. All right. Take a few deep breaths into that upper back. And then release. Take those arms down at your side. Give them one more little shake out. And then if you want, bring those hands together at the heart, a nice gesture of gratitude. I always encourage you to be grateful for your body, right? And all the things that it does for you, no matter what limitations you encounter as you're doing activity with your body. Remember, there's lots that your body is doing for you, and it's great to be thankful for that. And we're always thankful to AARP of Alabama for giving us this opportunity to practice mindful movement together. We hope you'll join us again on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. for some mindful movement practice.
Great. Thank you so much, Becca, for giving us opportunities to try different levels and reminding us to be grateful for what our body does. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I always enjoy doing these practices for AARP of Alabama. Let us know what you think. We love to hear your comments. So we always take those into account as we try to, plan our programming. So let us know what you think.
Yes, we are so grateful. Thank you all for joining us today and for being mindful and moving your body. We are so grateful for that you joined us, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.